Hello gang. Those of you that know me probably know I like to go off on a tangent, but sometimes these things just happen. So what are we doing? We're on Project Benny here today. So we are trying to, what I want to do is fit the scuttle panel. But before I fit the scuttle, I've got to paint it. I've got to paint it because you can't get the spray gun up and underneath. So I want to get it painted before it goes on, which means I've prepped all of the bulkhead. I've been doing the seam sealing here to stop all the rock getting in the seams. I've also got to do it here, but I had to repair some of the paint around here, get rid of the rust and then treat it. It then needs to be seam sealed here. I'll then hit the whole thing with a filler primer. It's got etch primer on there, so you want to put the filler primer on. Want to take out some of the divots, and the other thing is to neutralise the quite strong primer here to make sure you have no reactions with the paint going on. So to fit this, you have to go off and do all these other bits and bobs first. But while I'm waiting for painting things to dry over here, I'm test fitting the scuttle panel because I need to know where to cut into the windscreen pillars here. So you want to make sure that's in the right place. Do I know what the right place is? Not entirely sure, but it's about test fitting panels a lot. So I've got the wing in place. So I want to make sure that this is roughly in the right place, and I can do that by lining up the windscreen seam here and the seam on the scuttle. That works reasonably well, but I don't know whether it's right this way or that way, and I keep having this monstrous great gap down here, which I don't want. I don't want to have to slab a load of seam sealer in there and then spray over it. It just doesn't seem right. It should fit. These are genuine panels. Also quite a big gap here on the inner wing. So you then end up, you're starting off trying to do this, you're then looking at what's going on with the wings, what's going on with the front panel alignment. That's generally okay. I think you can just move these around a bit and you'll be okay. But then I'm back here and I'm on to the A panel. So one of the things I wanted to do was I need to know, with this gap here, where does this need to be? When this has the line of the door going along here with the A panel and the wing, where does it need to be? So I kind of need to get the A panel in place, which means I've already sort of test fitted the A panel and I know it doesn't fit on with the door here. But we have good door gaps down here and okay but a bit tight, it's rubbing here. So what I'm going to do is put a couple of spacers on the door, push it that way a bit more, and see whether we can get a bit more space in here, get the A panel fitted so I can make sure the A panel lines up to the door, and then we can make sure the wing's in the right place, and then we can figure out where this needs to be from a this way, that way point of view. That way we said frontwards or backwards, we said we could line up between the two seams on the windowsill, not a problem. And then we just need to know side to side which way it goes to be able to line up on here. So let's put the hinges in here, hinge spaces in here. Let's see whether we can fit the A panel, maybe tack it on place, and then we can start lining that up and then making sure this is in place, maybe doing a bit of fettling on this panel to make it fit so we get this seam seal a bit better. Then we can choose where the gap needs to be, cut this, and we're in a bit better position to fit this on. Once we've done all the fettling and fabricating, then we can turn it over and paint the bits that need to be painted. Then we can pop it on and then we'll look like we're getting somewhere. So let's see how we go. Always seems to be off and on with these panels. Off on, off on. Maybe when I get a bit better at it, I might not need to do it so often. So after quite a bit of fettling around, fiddling about, in the end I've decided to centre that up based on the little drip rail down here. Make sure this is even, because if you try and make this match here, this ends out too far that way, and my concern is then when I come to do that side I have a massive amount of problem trying to line that up. So I said, right, you've got to centre that, that's what we've got, and then we've got to make everything else match that. But then the problem you've got is quite a severe hole there. This is bearing in mind the door is lined up with the A panel and the wing to be quite flowed. Whether we can start pushing that over a little bit, I don't know, but let's have a look at it now. So I think what the conclusion is, we've centered this up according to the drip rails. As you come down here, you can still see where the edge of the body panel is there and where the edge of this comes down, miles apart. So I think I'm just going to proceed with getting this on, marking up where to cut on both sides, cutting it out, carry on prepping that, finish that off, paint, get this fixed in place. And I think what we're going to have to do is, once it's fixed in place, is push out this corner here, is try and make that meet the gap a little bit more. It's quite stiff at the moment, but I think once it's all welded in place we'll be able to move that a little bit. I think we've got to make a decision here, or we're going to end up continuing to on off with the panels and not actually getting anywhere. I think they're not perfect, we just got to get on with it. So that's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.